playing for a while, but now it's time to rise up. Yo, Daddy Fat Snaps.
I've been doing this every single day since beta. Made some decisions, a few game changes. I started out with guys just to help room players. Then Birds reached out, hey, how are you, Slayer? I've got an opportunity, listen to me, Snaps. You can reach the community. I've listened to your raps, I like what you're doing. Join us on the podcast where we sit down and contrast and broadcast. Then it came out and people were shocked. They're like, who is this Titan? Needs like a guy. People on Z-Quill, they've been sleeping a lot, but I've seen at the top, now I'm keeping a spot. So I grind all the playlists so I can reach greatness and play this game on an everyday basis. And if I lose, the other team's blameless and rage quit. Nah, you will never be the greatest. You need to set a goal, can't leave your path aimless. Better every day, not satisfied with stasis. I do this for the love, never settle for the basic. Burning white hot, all heart, I'm tenacious. So keep on grinding while the other people's hate it. I'll slay every track that I make till you play it. And me, Duba, and Balls will reign supreme. Lyrical dream team, ice running through our bloodstream.
And now we rise up every time that we fall. There's nothing stopping us now. We are the ones who will prevail after all. I'm so hard to kill, you had to go and be unstoppable. Popping off, I'm dropping over bombs on top of all of y'all. Every time I go and there's another one to talk about. I don't deal with salt, I don't want none of that. Picking up the spark, I'm like a running back. We're the weekend warriors, party crashing every Friday. I'm not keeping score no more, running out of medals quickly. Yo, CR, that's how we do it. Got that mentality, no excuses. Speed, rep ability, run high agility, step like I'm everyday. Nobody killing me, I am the fan, I'm the target your dreams. Become the champion by any means. I use whatever, don't apologize. Open up a fresh wound of cauterize. That'll be mad when I thunder strike you like Zap. I got last word on my hip like
Yo, my God.
Holy shit.
Bonesy, you've been sitting on that one. Did a good job keeping that secret.
Sort of.
Oh,
Yeah,
I tried.
holy moly. That was...
Leon, Duba, and Bones reign supreme. My God. Can we, would you guys mind if we just listen to the last verse again? It's so hype.
Killing me, birds.
Oh, come on. People like started it over so they could hear it again. Let's do the last verse.
Going places you ain't even thought were possible. I'm so hard to kill, you had to go and be unstoppable. Popping off, I'm dropping over bombs on top of all of y'all. Every time I go and there's another one to talk about. I don't deal with salt, I don't want none of that. Picking up the spark, I'm like a running back. We're the weekend warriors, party crashing every Friday. I'm not keeping score no more, running out of medals quickly. Yo, CR, that's how we do it. Got that mentality, no excuses. Speed, rep ability, run high agility, step like I'm everyday. Nobody killing me, I am the fan, I'm the target your dreams. Become the champion by any means. I use whatever, don't apologize. Open up a fresh wound of cauterize. That'll be mad when I thunder strike you like Zap. I got last word on my hip like
Blap, 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 blap. Oh, just in time for Rise of Iron.
I thought I couldn't get more hype,
Oh,
but then
dear.
I heard this, and then I kind of went a little bit insane. So
Yeah.
I may not be of sound mind for this podcast.
Well, you might not want to be like doing your will or anything, but maybe you can talk patch notes with us because we got patch notes to talk about.
Yes, welcome to Crucible Radio, the podcast for all things Destiny PvP. If you're wondering why there was a weird Destiny rap at the front, sometimes I do that. I do want to give a huge shout out to everyone who worked on that with me. In the past, it was just me hitting record over a Childish Gambino track I downloaded. But this one got really out of control and was the result of some awesome team effort. But Duba, Daddy Fat Snaps, Green and Gold, who edited the video, Dan Stone, who did all the music, and Chris Collier, who mixed and mastered it. Insane.
Yeah.
I was overwhelmed. I was blown away when it came back to me for the final version. And if you want to listen to it, it's on our YouTube. But we are dying to talk about some Destiny this week. more than usual weeks. We're always dying to talk about Destiny, but there's plenty of stuff this week. So let's jump in.
Now, I thought that when this like patch notes drop that we were going to have to wait until Rise of Iron to play it, but no, we get a full 2 weeks in advance, 11 days to play this and to get a feel for it. We actually delayed the podcast today just so we could get in there, get dirty with it, and see how it feels.
Oh man, to give you guys a little insight to my life, I am very busy as of late. And I found 3 hours in the middle of the night last night to play this patch because I was so excited.
Well, let's get into it. Up top, at the beginning, we've got some weapon changes, starting with one I kind of suspected was coming, auto rifles.
Well, let's thank the guy, Greg, our good friend of the podcast, Greg C.
Peng, the man with the sweater and the fine taste and the sandbox skills. Hooking it up this go around. And he brought a couple of my auto rifles out of the vault. We got the magazine size decreased for the highest rate of fire, so your doctrine of passing. But I'm excited about the little bit of damage boost to the mid rate of fire auto rifles. This one is interesting. So I pulled out my Paleo Contact and my Righteous 7. I don't know if I saw a huge difference in damage. I don't know if I felt it, but kind of feel-wise, I would say these guns felt a little bit more effective. It probably the best this impact tier of auto rifle has ever felt for me. That Righteous 7 in particular was, I like, even after I'd finished like testing it out, I still just kept playing with it just because it felt really good. It felt like I could compete in 6s.
So I'll say this. I went to my vault last night to pull all sorts of things out of it and go into the Crucible, give everything a little try. I noticed that I am lacking a lot of these guns, a lot like weird stuff. I didn't really hang on to a lot of non-meta things, stuff that like really didn't help me. So I have a lot of like hand cannons in there, and I've got some like all sorts of hawk saws and stuff from past metas. But I didn't really have too much in the ways of auto rifles. But I did have the Fabian strategy, which I played with for a game or so last night. It's definitely not enough time.
Fabian strategy meta.
Yeah, they changed it around a little bit. Kills with the weapon now automatically load a portion of the magazine, and they increased the base range by 16% and the base stability by 44%.
It's huge.
It is still a very unwieldy gun. It's a tough one to get down, but once I got into the rhythm and kind of felt the pace of it, it definitely was clicking, and I was having some fun with it. I did see a video this morning of PvE with this, taking on mobs, and they didn't reload once. So
what is this, bad juju?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Just hold the trigger down.
It might have its way in PvE, and I don't know like where it'll settle into the meta for PvP, but we shall see. I'm gonna give it its fair shake.
It looks like it goes up against the Monte Carlo pretty well, and I really want Monte Carlo to do well. I have to mix up the perks a little bit and play with it more. It felt more consistent. I still feel like there's such a weird thing with auto rifles where I can't move and bounce around when I'm using them because you just got to stay in one spot, pick that spot, and hold the trigger until they're dead. But I think if I give this a little more look, and it sounds like auto rifles are doing it, I would love to play with my Monte Carlo with my Stormcaller, which I've committed to permanently, mostly permanently. We'll talk about that later. But getting those zappies with Monte Carlo, I'm talking full Monty meta, baby. Full Monty.
The full Monty.
I feel like we should probably put this at the top, but this is what we said, 11 days left until Rise of Iron comes out. That's a lot of days. It's going to feel like forever for playing all of this. But I wouldn't say anything's going to shake out within those 11 days and be like the clear choice. You're going to have some interesting finds. You're going to have people discovering some guns that were in their vault that are just beasts now. But I would say let's wait and see. We'll talk at length about all this, but when Rise of Iron comes out, there's going to be new guns. There's going to be new archetypes of guns coming back. and there's going to be new perk trees, all that, perks returning. So it's going to be hard to discover what it's going to be right off the bat. And we definitely can't tell you right now, oh, auto rifles, they're back. Get all these auto rifles from your vault. Make sure you have this, that, and the other thing, because we're definitely not clear as to what's going to pan out after Rise of Iron drops.
Yeah, tons of new guns coming. Tons of new guns.
Oh,
I can't wait to get my hands on them. So pulse rifles.
Oh, yeah.
And we've always wanted the slower pulses to pick it up a little bit, and they might be. We've got an increased rate of fire to the Lyudmila.
Good.
I got killed by one last night.
And increased damage for middle rate of fire family pulses, i.e. Nerwin's Mercy by 2%. I used my Nerwins. I have a couple really strong rolls, and I pulled out my reactive reload Nerwins. And I do feel like that one pulse feels better. The damage counter goes up about 1. I think it's 29 to 30. In terms of just overall effectiveness, in a 1v1, both a Hawksaw and a Nerwins are going to be 3 bursts. I might just stick with the one that 3 bursts faster. So I don't know. But the Nerwins has some impressive range and really comfy stability. It's been a while since I've used it. I think it just feels a little weird to me. But we'll see if those high impact pulses come back at all.
I played a lot with Nerwins last night, and I will say that pairing that gun with my newfound love, thank you, and Kutch, of crouching while firing pulse rifles, it works really well with the Nerwins. If you're challenging a sniper, if you're challenging another pulse rifle user or another scout rifle user, this works like a charm. Just tapping that circle button while you're firing and moving up and down so that your head box kind of moves around, and it makes it harder for who you're going up against to hit headshots.
I also pulled out my Nerwins. And Bones, I think I agree with you. It's been a long time since I've played with a primary that really had that much range on tap. And I just don't think I was really able to give it a fair shake because my playstyle has kind of moved a little closer, a little more aggressive. Maybe on some of the bigger maps, on Bannerfall, where you can really keep that distance, or depending on what game mode you're playing. It could be an interesting choice. It definitely helps, but I feel like when it comes to pulses, I'm probably going to stick to the Syzygy, to the Grasp, and to the Hawksaw. Well, up next, we've got hand cannons, and some interesting changes here. Actually not. It is a whole bunch of nothing for hand cannons. Understandable. We're still seeing hand cannons really sort of dominate at the high end of skill. But maybe this is a good time to sort of talk about something that's been a buzz in the Destiny world, and that is it's my new favorite meme, guys, ghost bullets.
Boo!
Did
that scare you?
You spooked me. You spooked me a little bit. You could also call this accuracy cones. You could call this effective range limitations. Regardless of where you stand on it, there's some videos floating around. Keen Koala, our friend who does the Crucible Bootcamp show on Twitch, had a really good sort of visualization. He sort of drew out how you think of it. But so there's an effect that happens when you get outside of the effective range of your gun. So that means when you start to see damage drop off. So if you're using an auto rifle that crits for 20 and you pull back from your target, or you're a little bit farther away and it's starting to hit for 19 or starting to hit for 18. Well, you've now gotten outside of the range where your reticle is perfectly accurate. You can imagine it just a laser within that range. But as soon as you start to get there, it goes from being that fine little laser point and starts expanding. You can imagine a cone. And actually, go back and listen to John Wisniewski talk in our very first interview with him. He describes this. It's called the accuracy cone. And even on your very first shot, when you're outside of that range where you see the damage drop off, your bullets you can't rely on them to go exactly where that reticle is. So that means that if you're trying to map someone with your Doctrine of Passing on, one of these big maps, even if you line it up perfectly, you might not make that shot. And the farther back you go, the more this effect takes place.
Yeah, let's be clear. It's on all weapons.
All weapons, from sniper rifles to sidearms.
Like the cone for some guns is smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Like a scout rifle, the cone is a little bit is tighter than a hand cannon.
I think even
a pulse
John
rifle.
said, even within the exact same archetype of gun, how that sort of accuracy cone works is going to be a little bit different. And I don't know. People have different opinions on it. You know, even on the show, we sort of feel differently about whether this is a good thing or not. But to me, regardless of whether I like to play with it or not, it kind of makes sense, right? Like, I don't want to be able to map somebody, you know, across Skyshock once we get our private matches with my auto rifle. I kind of expect that up close it's going to dominate there. And because the bullets move away from your reticle, it means sometimes I'm going to miss shots that I was perfectly lined up with. Sometimes it means I'm going to make shots that I wouldn't have made, but that cone happened to put it back there. So research it, learn more about it, figure out how you feel, or let it all blow past. But remember that if you want to use your gun to the best of its ability, make sure that you really understand that effective range. So find out for yourself exactly how far away you have to be to start getting that damage drop off. And as soon as you start to do there, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's wind or something or gravity, know that you're pushing your gun outside of its limits.
It's very windy in the tunnels of Thieves' Den.
Yep. I'm going to ask my caddy for this one.
I would like to add that it's like we don't know how Bungie's going to react to it. Like we said, we have different opinions here on the show about what should and shouldn't happen, but they have acknowledged the issues or the non-issues, depending on your stance. And we may see something in the future, but I would like to remind people that this game is really, really complex. Mm-hmm. And whether it's the amount of archetypes, the amount of guns, the amount of things that are implemented into a gun, simply removing something from one thing might not be as easy as you think.
There's one thing I want to throw out on this topic, and that is, let's play out the hypothetical, just so, you know, this is a subjective thing, whether you think it's good or bad. But let's just play it out. Let's say all the guns in Destiny were changed so they were all perfectly accurate. So no matter how far away you are, if you line up that reticle, you hit. Well, it seems like to me, in order to compensate for that, you would have to crank up the damage drop off considerably, all the way to zero, really. Like right now, I think it's a maximum of 50% damage drop off for a lot of guns. I don't know how I would feel if I pulled out my favorite hand cannon and perfectly lined up a shot across the map and hit them in the head, and I saw a little yellow 0 pop up, like yellow 0, yellow 0, yellow 0. Because you'd have to compensate that, or you'd have to kill aim assist, or you'd have to tweak one of these other things that is one of the secret sauce kind of things. And there are games out there like that. Like, you know, you play Overwatch, that super low aim assist, super accurate, a lot of range, and it just feels different. So
I'd love it if you hit a hand cannon shot and you hit someone at the head from across first light, and the only thing you see is a little yellow Illuminati symbol pop up.
Yellow 0, yellow 0, yellow 0. Or maybe just an exclamation point above their head, like something. I felt that, but
something that just says to you, fuck off, stop trying to hit from this range.
Anyways, that's enough of that. Seriously, if you are interested in it, go check out King Koala's most recent video. If you want to learn more, hit up Fallout. Fallout loves making research videos, and
tell him what you want to see.
Tell him what you want to see. And if you want from Bungie the explanation for how this works, so you can use it to your advantage to make sure you're always getting the best out of your guns, go listen to that first New Skin review, because he really spells it out.
Or episode 55 when he was on with Greg and Grant.
Or the other one where he was on with Sage.
Those are all good. Listen to those.
Listen to all the episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, just
start at episode 55 and work.
Look, nothing's happening in Destiny until the 20th, okay? All we're doing is filling our vault with legendary crap weapons. Go listen to some podcasts, baby. Catch up.
Did I scare you on to the next topic?
Oh, spooky shotguns. Nothing here. There's a Mobius damage spread
Oh,
decrease,
full auto.
and high rate of fire, middle low fire rate shotguns, the ones that no one's picked up in a long time, damages by 2%. I don't know. This is weird. I don't know if we'll see any shotguns suddenly show up in PvP because it's about range. If you're getting a duel with a shotgun, you want to be the farthest away.
I actually went and tested out this last item that reduces the spread angle penalty on shotguns with the perk full auto. And that one can be a real deal breaker. Like you get that perfect party crasher drop, except it's got full auto, and you go shoot it against the wall next to any other shotgun without full auto. And instead of getting this nice tight little grouping, it just splatters out across the wall. This one is actually pretty extreme, the amount they reduced it. It's almost hard to tell to see that there really is any difference in spread. It's like having shot package put on the full auto perk, or at least compensating for it. So I went ahead and tested it. Now, if you've got a party crasher with full auto that you held on to, that's got some other good range perks, pull it out, give it a shot. That being said, I tried all of these things at the same time by pulling out an oldie but goodie, Mr. Found Verdict, with that rate of fire and the full auto. And let me tell you, shooting someone, like an entire clip at someone at point blank range, like almost holding the trigger down and still not getting the kill after being spoiled on matadors and party crashers and conspiracy theories, a little frustrating. That probably is not going to be, I think I'm with you, Bones. I don't think we're going to see much in PvP, except for maybe people bringing in some full auto shotguns that they'd shelved before.
I think one thing we always got to remember here with new stuff coming, and if you go watch any footage of Rise of Iron, Crucible, or more console examining the perks on the weapons, those perk trees change. So we've already talked about, you have to choose between rifled or knee pads. I think I know my choice, but who knows? So we don't know if maybe full auto comes up in a slot that's not occupied by a rangefinder. Who knows? Our structures of shotguns might change. All guns might change. I might get a scout rifle that threatens not like the others because of the way perks are organized. Not that I think that will happen, because nothing's better than my not like the others, but could change something like sniper rifles, which actually got a lot more work done in this patch. Quite a bit, and mostly to our quote-unquote favorites.
Sniper rifles went under the knife.
Yeah, they really did. So your 1,000-yard, your LDR, if you grind those strikes, your longbow, if you're like me, I got a few of those. Sometimes I like bragging about my RNG. But they are reduced by damage 6.95%. And that's enough to take it out of super kill range. Not every super can die to that headshot, and people don't seem pleased by that, but I think it's important to remember that some snipers can snipe some supers. That is true. Not every super is immune. Plus, this is a very small little element of my sniping game, as much as I try to get those montage shots.
Well, I want to think about this a little bit, because this will definitely affect the way people play, for sure, especially in game types like Trials, where a self-res isn't the same as like getting a res off. So there will be more armor there, and sniping someone out of a self-res might not happen, depend on the sniper rifle you have.
Well, and also whether they're running a particularly high armor build or not.
Yeah. So there's a lot of variables in this that make it tough to predict, because not everyone runs a max armor Titan, not everyone runs a max recovery Warlock. So the differences will definitely vary. You might get a headshot off and kill someone one time, but it may not happen the next time. And that was one of the biggest uproars about the Sunbreaker when it first came out. Yeah. People not being able to snipe a Sunbreaker out. A lot of people felt like that was a contract in this game.
I was bothered by it.
Us included. Like we definitely didn't feel good about not being able to snipe a Sunbreaker out of its super. So this one's tough to accept. At least this part of the sniper rifle changes, is that you won't be able to snipe roaming supers, because roaming supers are one of the toughest to counter.
Well, now it does depend on how they have their build set up, even within the super type. The thing that I wonder about is I have to assume, because what's it like right now? Black Spindle? Like, we've got to be getting some more choices for truly high impact snipers.
Maybe.
Aren't exotic, or just, maybe have the base stats that are working. I can understand if they're trying to say, look, we really want to make sure there's a reason for choosing every single archetype, that if you really want to be able to lay down 100% of supers, you have to give up a little bit of that rate of fire and some of the good base stats on these favorite guns.
Handling be just god awful on a lot of the heavier snipers, but that might be the exchange they want to give you guys. If you want to snipe everything, you want to be consistent with kills, you're gonna have to trade off. And it also adds some variety. There's a lot of people that even before this were running like Defiance or Waylorans, just because Waylorans has crazy aim assist. And it's fun to use. I used the last
Speaking of aim assist, the LDR and the longbow did get reduced, because we remember they had, I think, 80 on the longbow. Now they're down to right where the 1,000-yard stare is. And I found this kind of interesting because on paper, 80 is crazy high. But over the past few weeks, if I'm sniping in trials, my Quest 1,000-yard stare is the best sniper in my hands. And I have a couple pretty good longbows. So I found that just kind of fascinating, that I didn't really feel like the longbow is necessary for me to get that, almost 30 extra aim assist. I felt really good with the gun. 1,000-yard, which I think is 54, 56. It's really right in the middle of the pack. So I'm curious if I'm going to pick up a faster shooting sniper and have more aim assist, and if that might feel weird to me with that extra AA. I don't know. It makes me think that those guns are okay, and that they're not nothing now that they don't have crazy high aim assist. And maybe middle of the road aim assist is just fine for a lot of snipers like myself. I think the big thing, really, really big thing that I felt immediately the first game I spawned in to test last night with you guys was the flinch.
Oh, yeah.
And it starts at 30. What did start at 30%, and it goes to 50. And then with every subsequent hit, the strength of deflection increases until you hit 100% max deflection. That means if someone touches you with an auto rifle while you're scoped in, it's going to be like the gif of Ethan from H3H3 when he's triggered, and you're just like, like nothing works. You can't see anything. You're just like, ha. I just had to back out and run away. It was very, very noticeable.
This is another hot topic one, because I love this.
I feel like this has been on the community wish list for a long time.
Yeah, I play a lot with like Tuanella or Hawksaw, or I really enjoyed going back to Nerwin's last night. That was, that's a very stable, and I enjoy using it. But there was always this moment, especially after they took high caliber rounds off of Mida, where you are landing headshots. You are 2 headshots into hitting a sniper, and you are strafing, and you're doing your best to kill this person, and they get that sniper headshot off on you, and you just sit there and you're like, why was I even trying that? Like, why? Yeah. What was I even doing in that lane? What was I doing challenging that sniper? But the thing is, I was in my effective range with the scout rifle, and I should have some chance. I should have some chance. It's not even that.
I mean, you could have caught them off guard. You were starting that engagement, and I've gotten salty about that a couple of times, where it was just like, I put 3 headshots on him and he still sniped me. I've vaulted Mida. About 2 months ago, I said, I'm using my Not Like the Others or nothing else. I wonder if I might pick up Boolean Gemini, and with the added flinch and then the added high caliber rounds to that gun, I wonder if that's just going to make me feel satisfying. Not to say like, oh, I'm going to start winning with this, but just to like annoy people with it. Just say like, this is for all those times I got sniped out of my primary engagements. So I don't know. It's Mida might be okay again. Okay as in the best gun again, but we'll see.
A good explanation of how you should adapt as a sniper is do not engage while middle of a gunfight. If like we just said, if you are already being attacked, you should not be trying to scope down and get your headshots. You may get one. It'll just be harder than it was before. And another good point would be something like Pantheon, where the rush is to get to those 2 sniper lanes on the outsides. Mm-hmm. And there's always a sniper duel at that point. And you have some people that go a little bit further and challenge the snipers with primary, but you got to get there first. If you want,
don't be late.
If you want to have the drop and you want to negate some of this flinch, be there first. Be in those lanes before anybody notices you, and you will have a much better time with your sniper rifle than you would if you're trying.
My biggest tip is the same as it was before this patch with snipers, which is take one shot from one location and then move. And if you can do that, if you can find those angles, force yourself to say, look, I know I could stand here and I know I might trade with him, or I know he might peek out and miss his shot. Just take a shot from somewhere else and you don't get in those prolongated moments of scoping. And that's the mistake I was making last night when I started noticing this flinch. I'm just like, why did I step back out here? So if you can take shots from a new location and make sure that they're not looking at you when you do it, you're going to be really effective and you're going to be really annoying to that other team who wants you to be in those known spots.
Swain, you mentioned him earlier. I'm just reminded of this thing I picked up watching Kuch play. Was that when he goes to peek with his sniper rifle, he pre-aims. So he's already perfectly lined up before he peeks out. And the actual shot itself is so quick. It's peek, take the shot, and then back and cover. And I think players who are at the level where they can expose themselves for the shortest amount of time possible, they don't kind of do what I do, which is like peek and then sort of line up your shot. That's already too long. You've already invited that first flinch to start. So I suspect that snipers with good habits, like you say, Bones, are going to be able to work around this. But people with bad habits are going to get corrected pretty quickly.
I think it might encourage players to move around a bit more. I don't worry about a team in trials that sits in the back. I just sort of think, all right, this is going to be kind of fun to push them. So I'm not like worried about that, but I don't want games to be drawn out for half an hour. So maybe snipers will be encouraged to move around a bit, and I think we're really going to see the best really rise up on the competitive level if people are like, oh, I got to snipe.
I see what you did there. Rise up.
Oh, yeah. It's not hard to get it in there. So
next up,
Crucible Radio does not talk about sidearms enough. Do we want to talk about them now? Is there much to say?
I like sidearms. I think they're fun.
What?
Hey, they're fun, man. And like,
I don't know. I think Greg, who did all these changes, made it a point to tweet something yesterday that said "Year of the Sidearm." So I feel like his goal here was at least to bring them into the conversation.
We see there's an item there. There's the damage bonus in PvE. In some situations, sidearms are already a necessity in PvE. And so I think we're definitely going to see some more adoption on that side. We've also got some new sidearms coming, including a new exotic sidearm, which I hear some people have already gotten to drop. A little jealous about that. But let's run through these. So for the Haka sidearm families, we see some damage increases. For the non-hit scan ones, the most unforgiving sidearms, we see a bit of decreased damage there. I have played in a lobby with insane Vestian Dynasty players, or maybe players, just one very memorable game. I've not had that same luck, but maybe they were finding something there with some players. We get a little bit more range before the damage fall off, 0.5 meter, which I like. A little bit more stability, which I like. And some tweaks to the fruit space, the bars. It doesn't change much. I'm curious to see what new sidearms we get. I still don't think that at the top level of play in tournaments we're going to see much sidearm usage, but I already enjoyed pulling out my Conviction 2 and hopping into some pub skirmish, just get up in people's faces with a blink. And so maybe we'll see a bit more usage there. Or maybe Greg just knows something we don't know.
Yeah, some new stuff coming. So be prepared.
Stuff.
He's hiding it in that cardigan.
Dapper.
Well, moving on to the best guns in the entire game. Fusion rifles.
Biased.
Nothing, do nothing. Let's move along. Thank you, based Greg Peng.
I appreciate the change to accelerated coils that shows accurately shows the damage reduction. That one is kind of nice because, like, you pop accelerated coils onto your plan C and you go, oh man, I can hit just as hard but faster. No, not correct. It changes your archetype down to God, what's the next one down? Is it Pantaray? I don't know. That was always kind of bugged me. Those bars are weird. Shouldn't read too much into them, but appreciate that.
I cannot get an accelerated coils fusion rifles to drop, and I have like a vault load of really good fusion rifles, but I've never been able to mess around with it.
You gotta spend more time at the gunsmith.
I know.
Yeah.
These in FR4 with accelerated coils. Best legendary fusion rifle.
I got my PDX and was like, cool, thanks.
Actually, Swain, you inspired me. I went to the gunsmith for the first time in weeks. I picked up the Tuanella and the Judith gunsmith orders last week when they were available. So I'm going to check them out.
Playing outside of the meta. Woo, 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 woo.
Heavy weapons. My favorite thing so much. We've got to change to rockets. The grenades and horseshoes perk proc radius reduced by 0.3 meters, excluding truth. And cluster bomb is more reliable. That sounds like a fun PvE perk if I ever get a nice PvE rocket launcher. I just don't pay attention enough to those. I still think G&H is the best perk because it lets you semi-reliably hit a Guardian in the air.
Yep.
And that will forever be the best option. And if you wait any longer, if you're playing with a gun that one doesn't have tracking and two doesn't have grenades and horseshoes, you have to hit the ground or you have to hit them with the physical rocket, which is extremely difficult. So I think
that's just like hitting them with a cannonball. At that point.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's still going to be your best bet. Definitely down to test out other guns, but in terms of rockets when I use them, which is mostly trials, I'm rolling with my Iron Banner rocket, G&H.
Oh, yeah. And the machine guns, we saw those highest rate of fire machine guns, which I don't personally care for. Apparently, other people didn't as well because they've gotten a bit of damage boost. 4%, that's not nothing. We see so much of the same couple machine guns. Maybe we'll see a bit of a change there. But we got a bunch of perk changes. Quite a set.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Do any of them stand out to you guys?
I'm most interested in this first one. The armor piercing, the high caliber, and the skip rounds. Ever since really halfway through year one, armor piercing never really was very high on my list. Now you get a +4 range boost, skip rounds, which we all thought we'd get around to making trick shot montages with, but that never panned out.
I got a bounce shot with a sleeper sim, and that's about as close as I'll get.
There you go. Good enough. But now it is a pretty effective range booster on its own with +5 range and only -3 to handling. I'm interested in that one.
The +5 inventory is not to be forgotten as well.
Oh, good point. Good point. I'm going to have to do another pass through my vault as soon as Destiny Item Manager is working again, or old Ishtar, and see what I got in there.
I need to get my hands on Take a Knee. Something with Take a Knee. I want to mess with this so bad. It reduces flinch reduction, and flinch is now, more drastic. Aim down sight speed is increased. A little bit of snapshot there. It just sounds fun. It sounds like a cool little perk. And I want to be a sneaky sniper taking a knee. That's my perk to look for.
Now, does this change? Because as I understood it, Take a Knee could be taken advantage of in a slide snipe. So you you use that slide, and it technically counts as crouching. It is a very aggressive form of crouching.
It's a dominant
Crouching
crouch.
around the corners.
I wonder if half a second is long enough. I don't know if that's more or less than what it was before. But something to keep in mind, it is more than just the crouch. It is pressing your crouch button and the scenarios that can happen.
Fleet-footed, baby.
Yeah, you stay sliding. Let's see. Bunch of other stuff I don't really care about.
I do want to point out unflinching got a reduction from 25% flinch reduction to 15%. It may not be noticeable, but trying it out, let us know how you feel about it, because that does take up a lot of people's perks. A lot of people are looking for unflinching on certain guns, especially sniper rifles. So it might not be the best perk to select now.
So, reading these patch notes makes me wish I could have them read to me. You know what I'm saying?
I would gladly read this out loud and record it and send it to you so you can listen while you're on the go. But that's just the patch notes. It's just like 2 pages. That's all I can do for you.
Yeah, that's not enough. I want full novels. I want books. I want magazines. Where can I find that?
Well, that's a bit of a commitment. I don't think I can do that. But you know who can hook you up? It's audible.com. They got it. Got those audiobooks for you. You can listen while you're on the go. We're always on the go, right?
We are on the go. As much as we sit around playing video games, we are on the go fairly often during the day. And our sponsor this week is audible.com, which has audiobooks from everything you can imagine. Newspaper, magazine, entertainers, broadcasters, business information, anything you need, it'll be read right to you.
Yeah, but okay, what do? I got to download MP3s or something, load them onto my phone. What is this?
There's not a lot of steps here. You go on the site, you select what book you want, you use a credit to get it, and then it comes right to you on your iPhone, your iPad, your Android device, even on those Windows phones.
And the upshot of this is that unlike streaming or rental, where you get it once and you listen to it and then it's gone forever, you own the books. You get to hold on to them. You can listen as many times as you want. You can listen over months, because sometimes it takes me months to read a page of a book or listen before I fall asleep, because it's a good way to fall asleep. But they're yours. You own them. You can access them anytime, anywhere, right from your smartphone.
And we're being goofs right now, but I'm serious. I've been using this a lot in the past few months. I've listened to Devil in the White City by Eric Larson, The Girls by Emma Cline, The Martian by Andy Weir. I am digging these books, and I just downloaded The Girl on the Train, because what happens is you see a trailer for a movie and you go, there's a book. I kind of want to read that book. It's probably right there on the front page of Audible. And if that sounded good to you and you feel like it fits in your lifestyle, I can't imagine how it doesn't. Audible.com is offering a free 30-day trial membership. Go to audible.com/crucible, CRUCIBLE, today and start the free trial.
And look, you can go with our recommendations. We're not going to steer you wrong, but you try your own book. You find something and it just doesn't click with you, that's fine. Audible.com's got the great listen guarantee. If you decide you don't like it, no worries, no questions asked. You can just exchange it for something else. And you should listen to us, because we got good taste in audiobooks.
And good taste in patch notes. Give me something else. What are we talking about?
And now finally we're up to exotics. And there's some stuff to talk about here. Can I start off by saying, rip Fallout plays. What unfortunate timing, you guys, and watch it, because there's a ton of good shit in there. Even if all you care about is regular legendary shotguns, Fallout put together this amazing video analyzing and proving effective shotgun range at the max range, testing Party Crasher, testing Conspiracy Theory, Matador, and of course the Universal Remote, which confirmed not always 100% reliable, but technically a bit longer range than everything else. Really great video. And it came out, the day before this change was announced? The day of, we find out that the era of Uni is no more. I hope you enjoyed it while it lasts, because the exotic perk that gave it its magic, that range bonus from ADSing, has been reduced by 75%. It is no longer a contender. And then add to that a change of archetype with the increased range of fire, decreased damage. Uni,
it's been nice.
You were such a pip. you were so spunky. We had fun with you. Some people did not have much fun with you, but it was a blast. I hope you enjoyed your time in the sun.
I think I'm still going to be that
fun.
dude in Inferno. I don't even care.
It's still hilarious in Inferno Rumble. So stick with it.
We already talked about Fabian strategy, but the next one up,
Darn.
This one,
Yeah, 25%. That's pretty rough.
it's definitely something.
Yeah, we've gotten some. I honestly, I pulled out my Thorn, and I've used it off and on in year 2. I didn't feel hugely challenged by this change at long range, like the Thorn magic where you can map someone. Definitely felt it a bit there. Short of that, it didn't seem super pronounced to me. But one of our friends who mains Thorn, it's his favorite. He was hit pretty hard by this. He claimed a stronger effect. So we'll see. And with year 3 Thorn, I guess it's unchanged, but we'll see how it shakes out in the bigger picture.
this just reminds me of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I'm not dead yet. The thorns being put on the heap of other thorns. I'm not dead yet.
This next one, Dreg's Promise. Bonesy, you and I were kind of getting melted by this Titan with Dreg's Promise. What was going on with his gun?
Yeah, GG, dude. I think I read a message after we got off, and I realized I didn't see it while we were playing. But he sent a GG, and I was like, "Oh, you're that kid with the Dreg's Promise." It was definitely getting me, and I just didn't know how to react to it, just because I haven't seen it ever. But the increased damage by 8%, increased magazine size by 3, and that stuff tracks you. I mean, that's no joke. I'm not gonna totally, convert to an exotic sidearm just yet, but that was kind of funny. I was almost enjoying dying to it.
Yeah, it's tough.
Dying to some new stuff. That's kind of nice.
Yeah,
Mix
at least
it up
this
a
week.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Drake's Promise is interesting because at that range you could get some shots off and then back out real quick of the range so that they can't contend against you. But I don't know. I got killed by it a bunch, so maybe Drake's Promise new meta?
Totally.
Touch of Malice, a little cheese there that they took care of. No Time to Explain. Now, Swain, if I go way back into Crucible Radio archives, No Time to Explain and The Stranger was an early favorite of yours. And now they've added the intrinsic perk Headseeker, which gives you a little more juice, a little more damage there. What do you think of this? Have you gotten a chance to try this yet?
I played one game with it last night, and I got the itch to switch off of it because it just I wasn't feeling it as well as I wanted to. It's definitely got a weird sight, so that's something you really need to adjust to. The effects of it just kind of glowing up front. I don't know if that's like lightning. There's something going on there that messes up your view. But I want to give it. That's another one I want to give a fair shake later because I do like the added intrinsic perk, and I don't know. It feels good. It just might not be the best. But that's my shtick.
Yeah.
You and your shtick.
Everybody loves a good shtick. Mr. Boolean Gemini, I'm just gonna say it, one of the blandest exotics in year 2. They tried to zazz him up. They put a new sparkly gold bow tie on Boolean Gemini, and if I can make any prediction, we are living in the flinch meta now. So with the new intrinsic perk, high caliber rounds, I know a lot of people are trying it out. They're giving it a shot. So we'll see if that's enough to pull them off the old C list.
Yeah, I'm very curious. It's why I stopped using Mida. So maybe as a scout rifle fan, maybe it's going to be fun. We shall see.
Oh, yes.
So a lot going on in the actual Crucible. We have some feelings about maybe subclass changes. Not enough testing to know for sure. And at the time of this recording, we have a few things that are on this list of the Reddit thread about what's changed that we weren't told about. I don't know what's a bug and what's not at this current moment. Like revive times are back to being drive-bys. That can't stay probably. So I don't know how deep we can really get into that stuff just because it's really fresh and confusing and we haven't played extensively.
Bones.
What?
Can I take this moment to stop being a Bungie fanboy?
Sure.
I'll allow it.
What the fuck? Why did I do all these Iron Banner bounties and you just
For
take
real?
them away from me?
Just tell me.
I was up until 4:55 in the morning before reset, finishing this on my hunter, and it was just such a pain in the ass on my warlock. And I
No, I mean,
couldn't
that's
get one of
50
them.
marks that we were holding on 3 characters. That's 150 marks that I just
Oh
would
my
have cashed
God.
in sooner. If you said, like, hey, we got to do this because of Iron Banner, I would have been like, sick, I'm going to buy this many more planetary materials or something like that. But, yeah, they disappeared. That,
Rip.
not
Oh
tasty.
my god. I'm very upset about it.
I'm peeved.
It really messed with my OCD for a while there because I wanted
They
to,
sat there
I
just
wanted
waiting
to
to be
just
turned
hit
in.
them so bad.
They would have been so easy to click, but we held off. If I may add a little balance to the situation.
No.
Well, I'm going to do it because some class items can now accept shaders. And if, like, I'm going to be honest with you, I never took off Tanic's cloak to begin with, but it is never coming off now. Every shader I put on this thing is freaking gorgeous. Like, this is probably one for hunters more than anything, although I'm sure there's some interesting developments in the towel world.
Not on Warlocks.
Sorry, buddy. Even apparently, and this is, I did not see this myself, but apparently even some of the speakers cloaks, the like very colorful ones, at least on the hood part, are starting to accept shaders.
That is cool.
I just like, I spent a lot of time worrying about making the perfectly ugly outfit, and I'm taking this shit next level now. Get that shader to clash.
I will jump back real quick.
Go for it.
To the Iron Banner stuff.
Not letting them off the hook.
No, they did come out and say they were changing things up for future Iron Banner, and they didn't want old bounties interfering because the new bounties, they said that 4 of they'll be available all week, and they will guarantee you weapon drops. So that might be a part of it. Taking the bounties out of the game to put these new bounties in. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Better
Could
be
fill me
weapon
in.
drops in there.
But future bounties might be nice.
Well, speaking of Iron Banner, we saw a bit of a change in year 2 with the Iron Banner drops all of a sudden getting jacked the bink up. And we've seen in regular
Nice segue,
Crucible,
bro.
legendary engrams are not in there. For regular Crucible, no more getting one of those little cloak engrams like I need a cloak at this point.
I
So
get
we're getting-
so much chroma arms from Shaxx.
All the legs.
I do not need them as rewards.
I'm set. I can only wear one pair at a time. But Crucible legendary weapons will drop significantly more, and every indication shows this is the case. I saw a screenshot with 3 Party Crashers and 3 Eos Lunas. As somebody who's gotten only about 5 Party Crashers, and they've all been garbage rolls, I'm so looking forward to having a chance at a decent year 2 shotgun. So maybe in the next 11 days, I'll get a Party Crasher before the new one
What a
comes.
high note, seriously. The drop thing is amazing. We've seen, just this morning, 2 people popping up in Slack with beautiful Party Crashers that they got. I'm seeing Ias Lunas all over Twitter. That's awesome. I'm so glad that, the week before year 3, people are like, look at this drop, finally! That feels good.
Get your grinding in now because you do not want to be the person a half a year from now that's like, oh, where's my Matador?
Oh,
Or no,
let's just...
I never
I never got a Party Crasher because I wanted to play another game before Rise of Iron.
Let's maybe pray that's not the case. I don't know.
We'll
I don't know.
There's going to be a different gun, right? There's going to be a different gun that drops in the Crucible. So
Matadorbit.
play. Get your rolls now. Figure it. Let it all settle out later.
Bones, I'm happy to hear that we're going with Matadorbit.
I like it. I liked it. I listened to the interview. I liked it.
Thank you. I'm trying to, and this is a work in progress. My next thing is to get people to call hand cannons with luck in the chamber luckies. Like, are luckies allowed?
Oh, are we
working
playing
on
with Luckies? We playing Luckies?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no luckies. No luckies. Put it
Dude,
away.
I can't wait for like private match lingo to evolve. One, so I can stop saying rip and things about my career. But like, yeah, like what are we using this config? Is this a setup? Are we going luckies? What's the deal?
Luckies
I love
in this
it.
variant. Yeah.
Sound like some like 1930s gangster.
Hey, Johnny
Yeah.
Blaze, we playing with luckies
Yeah.
tonight in the private matches or what?
Wait a second.
Ah, we waved heavy. Why you gotta do this to me, Johnny?
I discovered something I'm more angry about, guys.
What?
I don't know if I like Angry Swain. I like Sleepy
I like
Swain.
Angry Swain.
Sleepy Swain's the best Swain, but they fixed some reward logic associated with vanity rooms
Oh, now I know
from
what this
Shaq's
is.
weekly package. And
I
now
bet you're
everyone's
angry about this.
waltzing about with Kingspire, and I'm no longer the special neon green flower I was a week ago.
I'm quoting that.
He's our special little neon green flower.
I miffed!
Swain, you'll be okay, I promise.
Just gonna have to get something else. I'm gonna clutch my moment of the week emblem.
Oh,
Can't
yeah.
take it out of my hands, Bungie. Don't give it away at an event, please.
So, it's a long show so far already. We want more time to play. You can get a feel for a few weapons and a few games, but there's a lot of changes to game modes. Things that stand out to me is the heavy ammo change in Trials. Love it. And Salvage looks very interesting, and it seems like the scoring might make it a pretty viable competitive space. So we're going to play a lot of Salvage. And next week, we will certainly be talking about Salvage on an episode that comes out the day before Rise of Iron. Ugh,
Woo! It's close,
Boy.
guys.
I'm feeling
In
it.
the hype. Can we just play the new Rise Up rap before?
You're going to make so many
episode?
people on YouTube upset with me.
Some people don't like hip hop, and that's okay. Some people don't like Bones, Duba, and Snaps reign supreme. Lyrical Dream Team, something something. God, I just love it so much. Can we have it again as our musical break? Right.
Back in the day, I was the one to complain, making up reasons for why I was losing, but man, that shit was lame. Didn't think I was to blame, didn't think it was my aim, but now you remember the name, cause I'm the new salad, I'm changing the game. OT's back in town, Tuba with me, hold it down. Daddy Fastnap's gonna tell you need to stop fooling around. Been a long time coming, but they made us year 3. Gonna bring you that new metal like I work for Bungie. Use whatever, don't apologize. Open up a fresh wound and cauterize. I'm going full auto on this one. Hear my hammer, yeah, you better run. Let's go. Yeah, I got everything I need to win, just a matter of picking up, trying again. You pissed at the game, I'm playing to win. My rhymes are the facts, unlimited spreads, fighting to the mountaintop. Yeah, my fire team has got the iron hot. Duba.
When I step in the crucible, I equip what is suitable. Think your technique is inscrutable. Welcome to your funeral. Skills irrefutable. You can save all your arguments. You fear my arsenal. Wait till I play with an armament. Today I'm stomping it, especially CQC. Better watch it when I shotgun. You can only see through me. Let me be clear. I am your only reason to fear. If you face this Iron Lord, you'll be leaving in tears. People will cheer.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. And joining us this week, we are bringing an interview we tried to bring you before. We wanted to bring you. We got it live in the field, real deal, and then the audio recording didn't pan out. So we said, got to bring him on. Got to get the scoop, and we're get the whole scoop this time. No rush backstage interviews from the busiest man in show business, Mr. Don't Bother Me himself, Mr. Kevin of Destiny Community Con, now Guardian Con.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
You go by Mr. Kevin of DCC officially. Did I get that right?
Most people just call me Kevin. There's no Mr.
Okay.
or DCC.
I'm going to call you Mr.
Yeah,
Kevin.
sure. That sounds good. It's your show, not mine.
Well, thanks for coming on. So we at least I met you at DCC a couple short weeks ago, and I gotta say, for a convention that's in just its second year, for something that's a community thing, it's still getting started, kind of niche, and had exploded in size from the previous year. I was expecting a logistical disaster. I have to say, as someone who kind of appreciates these things, you pulled this thing off flawlessly, just like clockwork, so on schedule.
Yes.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, if you could even call year one a convention, It was more of a meetup thrown together that a lot of people came to. And someone else said Destiny Con, and it just grew from there. But this year, Goth came to me and he was like, I want to make it a thing this year. So I said, sure, I can help you. I did event planning in New York for about 16 years before I moved to Tampa. So I had the experience on that side. But the biggest constraint was budget. All our fundraising was done through merchandise sales, VIP packages, and ticket sales. Mm-hmm. So for an event of that size, even what the numbers we were planning, not the numbers we got, but the numbers we were planning, it's like you said, niche is a very kind word to use. It was very DIY, very bare bones, but I like to even say it was almost intimate because, it was the first year of this iteration of it. So I was pleased with what I did. Or what we did on the budget that we had. And already, we know from talking, from sponsorships and stuff that are already starting to communicate with us, we know next year's budget will be significantly more and we'll be able to do more. Yesterday, we nailed down the new space. It's about 35,000 more square feet.
Yeah, saw that picture, man.
It's if you were in the building, that building next to us where those garage doors were, that's the new building.
Nice.
Yes.
There you go.
That's the new building.
Well, we were talking and, trying to tell anyone who doesn't refer to me as Bones about what I did that weekend was a little difficult because I'm explaining it like, yeah, it's a con, it's like you gather there and talk about games. Well, just one game, really. There's not a lot of games. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, there's a community for one video game. And they just look at you like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. But that is pretty amazing considering that this is one game in a community that just plays a single video game. So all things considered, it was still so amazing and a really fun, I think, for everyone who was either involved in some way or just came to see some cool things happen. So there was definitely some cool stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, it was for what it was. Again, I was very pleased with what we were able to do. I knew from an event planning standpoint, there wasn't enough activities to keep people entertained for 8 hours. So we went heavy with the panels. We went heavy with the meet and greets, the things that didn't cost us money. That's where we went heavy because that's the best thing you can do is try to entertain. I was very pleased with what we did on the budget that we had.
I could say those things, even if they were free, were my favorite parts of it. Obviously, it's
Absolutely.
like getting to meet some of our fans, getting to be up close and personal with a lot of people that just love this game so much was astounding. And having to sign an autograph, that's something I never thought I'd have to do.
Yeah.
That was a new one.
And secretly fanboying about people that we really like. And, because we
Yeah.
walked in feeling like just, we were as awestruck as anyone else. So it was really cool. So with all of this in mind and how it went down, I am curious about what was going on that day because it was awesome how friendly you were, and you were talking to everyone while also being the busiest man on the planet. So what was it like? How did it go? What was the flow like? Did anything kind of throw you off, or was it tough to manage it all?
The previous year, I was nobody. I was just a dude that had a stream that he shared with a bunch of friends, and I went as more of a follower and someone that wanted to be more involved and less of someone that was actually involved. And that's how I kind of met a lot of the other content creators. So this year you're thrown into a completely different role. My Twitch stream has grown significantly from January to this convention. I am
Your partner now.
Yeah, I got partnered back in May. I co-host a podcast called The Jam with Goth. So it's like I didn't expect what happened to me, and I'm completely flattered by it. Like people were coming up, hey Kevin, can I get your autograph? Hey Kevin, can I get a picture with you? Hey Kevin, I didn't expect that. I thought I was going to fly under the radar, be able to run around, do my thing like I would do at any other event, but I wasn't able to, and it was awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it was awesome. It was very flattering. Like Swain said, like signing an autograph. What? You want my? Okay, sure, whatever.
I have to figure out what this signature looks like when it's
Thankfully,
not my real name.
thankfully, mine
Get my
is my
other
real
name.
name.
The first one I
you
did,
guys got lucky.
I signed it like I was signing a check, And I was like, can't do that. Got it. And oh man, it was just, I made it up as I went along. So yeah, that did happen.
Yeah. Next year, I'm going to be real good at this.
Practice.
Practice at home swinging.
Filling up the notebooks. Well, I want to get it, like, this is not event planning radio. I do want to get into just like peeking a bit to hear some of the logistics behind it. But maybe we go back to the beginning first. How did you get involved in streaming? How did you get involved in podcasting? And how did you get involved in Destiny?
So in December of 2014, me and two friends decided to do a podcast. And the first two episodes were not on Twitch. And then one of the guys used to stream Warcraft on Twitch. And the podcast was just stupid games, whatever we want to talk about. So then we started doing it on Twitch. We had started playing Destiny at Alpha, me and one of the other hosts. So simultaneously, we're Destiny players. And then we do this podcast. And then we start, I'm live streaming from my PlayStation directly, nothing fancy. So then we decided to start streaming on the podcast channel. So it slowly grows. Then we decide to add 2 more people to the channel and it slowly starts to grow. Then I randomly meet Goth in Disney. He tweets out, "Hey, I'm here if anyone wants to get a beer." And one of my buddies is like, "Yo, Goth's in Disney. You should have a beer with him." I'm like, "Sure." And then we hit it off and we became friends. And I had him and Broman on our podcast. And, that kind of catapulted us to another level. And then at the end of 2015, I moved from New York to Tampa. Me and my friends decided to disband the channel in hopes that everyone could do their own thing. And then, my friendship with Goth turned into the podcast with Goth. And then Professor Broman and Goth started pushing my Twitch channel way more than I never asked them to. They just started pushing it, and being like, go follow him, go follow him, go follow him. So I'm streaming on my own channel. I did the SRL thing last year and got a ton of follows from that. And I'm just, kind of growing it with their help and the community starts to come around me. And, lo and behold, I end up getting partnered in May. Couldn't believe it, honestly. But that's kind of been my journey. I really enjoy podcasting. So it's like a pleasure to do this with you guys. But that my journey's been kind of like the podcast to the stream. And then I had tons of help. I'm the first one to say that because I've gotten those mean tweets too. Like, how's it feel to know that Goth carried you to you? I don't care if you
people saying mean things on Twitter.
Isn't that crazy?
What?
It's almost like there's a barrier between you and them.
It's crazy. But yeah.
So what you're saying is that we all need to bust out and go solo if we really want to.
Oh yeah, that's
get our thing going.
Definitely the way to do it. Do it exactly. No, dude.
Guys, it's funny you mentioned that because we need to talk.
You would be the dude to go solo. I'm not even joking right now. That would be totally something you do.
I would go solo. I would get bored with it and not do it on a proper schedule and then be like scratching at the door trying to get back in, but Fallout's already taken my place. It's all over. I've already played the whole scenario out. I'm not going anywhere.
I want to know a little bit about next year. I'm sure we just talked about it a little bit ago, but you guys have a spot and a date.
Yes.
Want to let these people what the date is?
Dates, plural.
More than one?
Yes,
Ooh.
we are going to be back at the Florida State Fairgrounds. We're moving to a larger space. We were in the entertainment hall. We will now be in the expo hall. Like I said, it's about 88,000 square feet. It's huge. And it will be June 30th and July 1st, 2017. No times yet.
Ooh.
And tickets have not been announced when they'll be on pre-sale, but there will be pre-sale.
Please buy them ahead of time.
Please, for the love of God, buy them ahead of time. Our hope is to sell out and to not do anything at the door.
I would love to let everybody know that standing in the Tampa sun in June, July is not as exciting as you would think.
Well, part of the strategy with the larger space is we're going to queue the registration line inside this time. We have a whole
so luxurious
whole side of the room that we're dedicating to just queuing the line in.
You got to threaten them. You got to make them stand outside if they don't pre-order.
I mean, again, our hope is to sell out. I hope a bunch of people learn their lesson. I hope a bunch of people, that now know about it from the Kotaku articles and the Forbes articles that found out about it the week it was happening. I hope they'll be more apt to pre-order for this year. So we're going to do 2-day passes and we're going to do single day passes. And, if we sell out, then great. Everyone who's coming knows they're coming and we don't have to deal with, doing tickets at the door. That's the plan and the goal, but things never go according to plan.
So our listeners have heard us gush about this, and we've talked about it for 2 or 3 weeks now. But this might be a little tough to understand if you weren't there. But what did you think went really well, and what do you want to capitalize on for next year? What are you hoping to do bigger and better that you really liked about this year's DestinyCon?
I loved like you guys were talking about before. The panels went well. I thought that was kind of became the focal point. We want to do more with the panels, but for what we had this year, I thought it went great. The Twitch audience seemed to enjoy it as well. So that was the high point. For next year, we are implementing, it's not even on our wish list. There will be some sort of competitive play day one with the introduction of private matches and so on and so forth. So there will be something culminating on day one of Guardian Con next year that involves competitive play, PvP. We don't want to say too much. We're still in the idea phase and hashing it out. But yeah, we will have some sort of competitive situation. And the room is cool because it has upstairs bleachers in addition to downstairs seating. So we're going to kind of build a theater almost for day one.
That's amazing.
For the competitive play. So that's the goal on that end. But yeah, that's the plan.
We MLG now, baby.
Oh yeah.
So I imagine you probably already have a list a mile long in your head between now and June 30th and July 1st of next year. What's got to happen? Like, what are the things that you're thinking about or the things that you're going to need to start worrying about?
My job is to deal with all the stuff that people never even think about. Like, we need insurance for the event. I have to go get the insurance for the event. No one thinks of that. If you're not in the business, you don't know, like, oh, I need to make sure I'm insured, because the venue will not ask you for things like that till the week of the event. And then to try and scramble and do that stuff is not fun. So, little things like that. But a lot of it is going out and getting sponsors. This year, instead of a global sponsor, we'll probably work with one global sponsor, but we do want to do sponsored stations as well. So there's that. There's gathering volunteers in a much more organized situation. Last year was not good at all. I had trusted some people to do it, and they got busy, and it kind of just between me and them dropping the ball, it kind of got lost in the shuffle of everything. So we have Alex, aka Omni Waffle, who will be handling all of the volunteers. And the day after the con, we're at Disney, and he's talking to me about, so next year with the volunteers, we're going to set this up. And but I'm like, okay, all right, cool, sounds good, terrific, awesome, Alex, you handle it. So so that kind of stuff. And then also, managing the floor plans, and we'll probably go through 3 or 4 different floor plans before the beginning of June, late May, and just getting vendors, like the annoying stuff like lighting, sound. We're working on, I know you guys saw that gaming truck that I'm sure everyone hated that guy, including me, by the end of the day. So we're working on gaming stations next year, and significantly more. And we're trying to find some other activities for people to engage in. Like I said earlier, there wasn't enough this year, and we need to get some more, but we have some fun ideas. I'm working on something I'll talk to you guys off the air about, involving podcasts, because I feel like this community has so many podcasts, and I feel like you guys need a place to have some fun at the convention with your podcast. So we're working on something with that. And, Professor Broman, Ben, is mainly dealing with the charity. And this is kind of, exclusive. I don't know. I don't know. Ben talked about it on the stream today, but that's really it. We had a call with St. Jude today. This is, what day is it? The 8th. And so the whole way we're going to try and work the charity, and I'm very excited about this. We want to work the charity. We're going to partner with St. Jude long term. Let me say that first. We're working with them to get a contract together, like a whole thing. We want the charity to be a global initiative, not just the stream before and the 2 days of. We want an annual relationship with the community under the Guardian Con banner and St. Jude. So we're going to be working with people to do their own satellite events. We're going to be working with people to do St. Jude walks and 5Ks representing Guardian Con, aka Destiny community.
Ooh.
And like, we're going to have an annual running total of how much this community can raise for the year, not just the stream, not just the day of. So, we want to break new boundaries. I'm sure you guys were going to talk about it at some point, but the stream before the event is the most, raised the most money of any gaming fundraiser that St. Jude has ever had in their history, and we doubled it. So, we have potential here,
Wow.
and we're going to roll with it and run with it and do as much as we possibly can to benefit St. Jude as well as we grow this thing that we're still figuring out what the hell it is.
I foresee a lot of streamers deleting stuff next year.
Oh yeah. But that's the cool thing is it doesn't have to be next year. Like if tomorrow, right? If the community wants to do it tomorrow, like cool, we'll get the word out for you guys. You guys can start fundraising. Here's the information for the PayPal, which you get direct from St. Jude. Play Live doesn't touch our account, never has anything to do with us. We just keep the running total, so we know for the year we raised X, Y, and Z. And they organize their own event, and we promote it with them, and people get behind it. And that's the goal and the end goal for this. Is even if you can't come to the physical con for 2 days, even if you don't get to participate in the stream, you can still be a part of the situation and make a huge difference over the course of a year. So that's the new thing that we discussed with them this afternoon, and we're very excited about that.
That's fantastic. I'm sitting here sort of nodding and smiling, just kind of with a dumb look on my face, because that's just so cool. To take something from meeting up at a bar and too many people show up to a niche community getting together in Tampa to making this an impactful thing year round, that when you think of Destiny, this is just another thing we do. That's beyond amazing.
Right. That's the whole thing is like it's almost like we want Destiny and St. Jude to be synonymous in this weird, like, oh, that's the community that raises all the money for St. Jude. That's the goal, So yeah, it's just, that blew me away that when we formulated the idea with them, and I just got really excited about it. I'm like, I can't wait to talk about it tonight on the podcast.
So if someone wanted to volunteer to help out, either in person or online, and you said you want this to be a little more organized, so where can they reach out and how can they get involved with this whole thing we've got going now?
You can go to facebook.com/GuardianCon17. You can go to twitter.com/GuardianCon. Tweet us. We can take private messages on both of those websites. Say, hey, I want to volunteer. And right now I'll probably respond, hey, just follow the channel and look for alerts, because, we're not there yet. But we'll get you into the Discord channel so you can chat with other people that want to volunteer as well. And we can kind of grow the volunteer list from that. And then when it's time to do signups, we'll say, here's the signup, guys, go. And we'll push it through every medium we have. So anyone who wants to be involved will get notified, and they can apply and try and get involved.
All right. Well, Mr. Kevin of DCC, you're more than just Guardian Con. If people want to find out about your show, about your stream, or anything else, where can they find you?
I'm on twitch.tv/Kmagic101, at KevinXVision on Twitter. I have a YouTube too. It's cool too. It's youtube.com/Kmagic101. It's not much going on there, but it's cool. And yeah, that's where I am on the internet personally. But and the website for GuardianCon is guardiancon.co.
All right. Well, go check it out. And for the love of Mike, for the love of the kids, please pre-order your tickets. You said December people can expect to start pre-ordering?
There's a chance it'll be before December. So just stay tuned to those outlets that I just said. That's even my Twitter is a great way to plug in. I retweet everything from the Guardian account, and vice versa. So just stay plugged in through there, and you will know we will promote the hell out of the ticket pre-sale, and we will give people ample notice to say, this is the day they're going on sale. This is how much 2-day passes are. This is how much single are. And 2-day passes will be limited. I can't emphasize that enough. We are not selling, the capacity of the building's anywhere from 6 to 7K. We are not selling 7,000 2-day passes. They will be limited. So
Well, I heard that GuardianCon 2017 2-day passes make a great Christmas gift. So,
it has nothing to do with the timing of when we're selling it, I promise.
well, take your pick. When's Hanukkah this year? They're Thanksgiving gift. I don't know. Buy them early. Anyways, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Yeah, Kevin, thank you for being here. Thank you for having Crucible Radio be involved in all of this and being so gracious when we met each other at Destiny Community Con. We are freaking excited for next year. Can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I'm going to tell you about that thing when we get off the air and the rest of the world can wonder
we better stop recording then.
Exclusive.
And now we rise up every time that we fall. There's nothing stopping us now. We are the ones who will prevail after all.
Well, we heard from Kevin. DCC, may it
Gonna be
live forever. GuardianCon next year. Pre-order those tickets, you bips. But it's outro time. Bones, can we just play? Can we play
Nope.
Rise Up just once
Nope,
more?
we're
Just
not doing
once
it.
more.
No, you're already. It's been out for like 4 hours, and you're running it into the ground, and you're embarrassing me. I won't put people through it if they don't want to hear me rap for the 3rd time today. But if you did like it, check out our YouTube. It's in the show notes, and go check out Duba, Daddy Fat Snaps, Green and Gold, Dan Stone. These guys, they made this thing come together that I didn't expect it to be, and it blew my mind. It was so cool, and it was so fun working with these guys for the past month and a half now. It's been under wraps, and I had a really good time with that. And so please check it out. Give it a little like.
CrucibleRadio.com. Follow us on Twitch.
Love you guys. I got last word on my hip like